Coach, obviously the official announcement coming out today that you guys are going to the Division I program. I mean, you've only been a program for 4 years and you're already going from Division II to Division I in the ACHA. What really does it mean for this program?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, obviously we wanted to do this from the get-go. In 2017 when we applied and then got the denial, we learned that, they wanted us to do a few things first. So we went out there and did those things, and hopefully we did those well. And now this time around when we applied and thought that, okay, the timing of, 5 years of being a Division II institution going into the 23-24 season would be an ideal time. We've had a group of kids that have come through here, will graduate this year, next year, have been the core guys. They've been able to leave their legacy with this program, and then we can start a new one with some of these guys that are here right now, the Johnny Witzkes, the Isaiah Thomases, those guys that can lead us into that next stage of who we are, and then help with recruiting, being that we'll be able to get in front of this a year out so that this year's recruiting class knows, hey, what is our intent, and that we intend to play at the highest level we can, provide an opportunity for them to showcase themselves and hopefully stay in this area.
What were those big things that you felt like you had to do, or the ACHA said that you had to do to make that leap to the Division I level? Was part of it having the success that you've had?
It is. I think proving that we're a quality program. We've got that from our president on down. We've got great support from our institution. We've had, with the facility that we play in over at the Starion Sports Complex, the Cadillac Rink, I think it's one of the best that we can play at. We go to lots of rinks, and it's a superb facility for our level of hockey. And then the winning has taken care of that. We won the national championship last year. We were building for that. We've got 2 more opportunities in front of us with a national tournament in St. Louis this year and in Boston in 22-23. So we've got our goal set on those things, being a great D2 member for another year and a half here and doing the best that we can to provide opportunities for our players. The ACHAs, they wanted us to have a conference. They wanted us to play games. We were an unknown at that point. They didn't know who we were we telling the truth or not, and we came out and I think we've showed everybody that what we had hoped for came to fruition, and now it's time to make sure that we're playing at the highest level we can.
Well, for people who aren't familiar with the ACHA and that kind of thing, what's the biggest difference between the Division II level and the Division I level? Is there any difference that fans should know about?
I think it's the competitive level, the support from the schools. Those that are D1 programs, I would say normally have a more interest from their institution than the D2 or the D3 level in the ACHA, where money is more players sometimes pay fees at the D2 level and the D3 level. At the D1 level, that's not necessarily the case, and schools are helping to provide those things. There's a bigger ticket fan base at a lot of those schools, but not necessarily every one. And sometimes it's just this is where we're laid to have our piece, and you take part in the opportunity to play. There's programs out there that North Carolina State and North Carolina played the other night in front of 3,000 people in their Governor's Cup. So there are programs out there that consistently get great crowds, but they're Division II schools, and it just depends on where the school intends and where the programs figure that where their recruiting can get them. And sometimes schools overshoot and sometimes schools undershoot. I think we'll be a competitive program right off the bat with the Division I level where we are with our current recruiting strategies. And if we change that a little bit and reach a little higher, I think we'll be a pretty quality program.
Well, we know that this move won't happen until the 2023-2024 season, so you've still got the rest of this season and a full season. So with this announcement coming when it is, what's kind of the next step? What happens between now and that elevation to the next level? Well,
this first off is to communicate with our recruits and make sure that they know, hey, here's what our intention is. Here's what we're doing for them to provide them the opportunity to be successful at that next level. To make sure that they're looking at our school knowing that we're moving forward quickly, but we're going to take our time to get there. we've got to get our conference affiliation set up and make sure that they bring us in, that we have the opportunity to have a schedule, because I've already got our schedule for next year completed. So, you know, if we wanted to try to do this next year, I would have had to call all those coaches, say, hey, we're not going to play you, thanks and sorry, and move forward. Now we'll have a plan in place. We'll be able to make contact. The conference will give us our set of games that we have at home and on road, and then we'll have a set of games, 12 to 14, that we'll have to have as a non-conference scenario, and we'll be able to set those up and be able to get into some scheduling alliances with schools.
Yeah, well, obviously you guys haven't been shy about, you know, hosting other big schools and traveling to play other Division I schools. I mean, you just came off a weekend where you played Minot State a couple of times. You played, you know, Jamestown's bigger programs. So it's not like your team doesn't know what that's like, but I guess the big question is going to be, what does it take to sustain success as you transition to a bigger level?
Yeah, you know, I think that's just depth. You know, we'll be able to go out and address some of those things. You know, we can be competitive right now with our current roster. To win a championship, you know, Minot showed us what it takes. They're the number 2 team in the country, maybe the number 1 team, just ranking as a ranking at this point in the year. They've been very successful over the last 25 years, and, you know, we have an understanding of, hey, that's an important aspect. How do you get there? You get players that are a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit smarter, played more games, whatever it is, at, you know, at the next highest level. You know, do we need to get Tier 2 guys instead of Tier 3 guys that have played juniors? That will be a significant impact on how we recruit. What can we do to attract those players to our program and then sustain a program over time is the biggest thing.